Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Sorry I did not give you the 5-minute countdown. I was having some technical issues, but I'm adding in the link to download the presentation in the chat box right now. As a reminder, this meeting will be in English for the first half hour from 1 to 1:30, and in Spanish for the second half hour from 1:30 to 2 o'clock. You're certainly welcome to stay for both. Please remember, any questions that you might have to please type into the chat box. So we'll just wait a minute or two and then we'll get going. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this week's Early Care and Education Partners Weekly webinar. The link to download the presentation is in the chat. Next slide, please. These are some upcoming meetings that we have. Provider Services Committee meeting will be February 25th, and our next Board of Directors meeting will be on Monday, March 1st. Next slide, please. A reminder of who your provider representatives are on our Board of Directors, and if you ever need to reach them, you can use the myproviderrep@elcmdm.org email address. Download the presentation, you'll have the email address plus a little information on them. Next slide, please. And on that note, we have a board vacancy for one of the provider representatives on our board. It's a provider representative that's associated with children with disabilities. So if you know of anyone or if you are a provider that's associated with this, please feel free to apply to be on our Board of Directors. Download the presentation and you can have the link to do the application. It is due on the 26th of February. Next slide, please. So we have a new COVID emotional support hotline sponsored by the Miami Foundation, Pepsi, Peacock Foundation, and Mujer Inc. If anybody needs a little emotional support or help or just to talk to someone about this, please feel free to give them a call. They're there to help. Next slide, please. As we've mentioned before, the celebration of the hands is still happening for Children's Week, but we are not collecting the hands. Please mail your hand artwork to the ELC of Big Bend. Download the presentation so you can have the flyer and the address where to send your hands. Next slide, please. Career Source South Florida and the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce still have their applications open for small grants for any COVID-related expenses that your businesses may have incurred. Please apply and again, download the presentation so you can have all the links and all the information. Next slide, please. As well as the webinars for the latest coronavirus relief act that passed in December. These are some webinars to help you understand what's available and how you can take advantage of it. Next slide, please. And now I'd like to introduce Ileana Vallejo, who's going to talk a little bit more about our open enrollment. Hello, Ileana.
Hi, thank you, Diana. Good afternoon to all of you, providers and colleagues with our agency. I just wanted to take this moment to remind everybody that we do have a huge enrollment opportunity for our families that are eligible for our school readiness program. We want to ensure that our providers are telling the families that we do not have a current wait list in school readiness, and to help us promote school readiness by having them apply for the services so that we can provide them with that childcare assistance that they need. In addition to that, we have some waivers in place from OEL that the family, if they received a reduction in hours, or if they were unemployed or laid off during the pandemic, we are waiving those eligibility criteria that they have to work or go to school for a minimum of 20 hours a week. So please highly encourage them and help us with our enrollment to the school readiness program so that we would have more families that you can serve as a result, since some of you I know are having low enrollment numbers. So please take this opportunity to promote the program to your families. And that's it. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. So thank you, Diana. Back to you.
Thank you, Eliana. Next slide, please. And now I'd like to introduce Carla Sotero Blanco from the Office of Early Learning to talk a little bit more about the Virtual Study Buddies program. Good afternoon, Carla.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Carla Blanco, and I am the OEL Regional Facilitator for Miami-Dade County and Monroe. I'm here to share with you an exciting news that we have our February calendar for our Virtual Study Buddies. We are promoting February's calendar, and also we will be giving you the heads up for March calendar for all the providers and staff that are in the preschools environment. Remember that the Virtual Study Buddies is the purpose to provide you with a high level educations to our staff that are already taking the assessment, but they wanna take as a refresher, they're willing to retake it again. And it's just to go over everything that we provide as the study buddies, like the phonetical awareness, the language and vocabulary, how to administer the VPK, the VPK assessments. We also could do the emerge literacy in the VPK environment. And then if you are still interested to attend, I'm gonna put in the chat the link that you are more welcome to register at via Eventbrite. And also stay tuned for our March calendar. And if you have any questions regards to our study buddies, you could reach at us at VPK Learning Circles at oelmyflora.com. And thank you for everything.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the information. Next slide, please. Now I'd like to introduce Casey Alanis from our finance department with some information regarding provider rates. Good afternoon, Casey. Is Casey or Alex available?
Dan, can you hear me? This is Alex.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, Alex. Thank you.
All right, so Casey right now is just having technical difficulties. It just happened that she's across my office, so she's logging on. So I don't know if you want to. Casey, are you on? Oh, there you go.
Sorry, guys. How can I help you? I wasn't on, so I didn't know what the question was. I apologize.
The provider rate increase information.
Okay. OEL has done a preliminary approval for an overall rate increase for qualifying providers. It has not been finalized as of yet, but Jose's team is on top of that and making sure that all of that will be put together for the providers as quickly as we can. As soon as we get the final approval from OEL, we'll make sure that everybody gets that information directly.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Next slide, please. Okay, now I'd like to introduce Marianela Reyes from our contracts department with some updates from contracts as well. Good afternoon,
Thank you,
Marianela.
Diana. Thanks. So this week we have a few updates that your 21-22 profiles are now available and are due. So go ahead and log in and create your profiles and submit them so that we can get those ready for contracting next year. We did send an email blast with specific instructions. There's a step-by-step and a list of all the documents that you will be required to upload. We even included some links to some blank versions of the documents that you can have. We did make some contract manager changes. I'll go over those in the next slide. We are also transitioning to electronic amendments. So providers will no longer have to submit amendments via PDF and email. We are going to send an email blast with specific instructions soon on how we will we'll be doing those in the OEL portal. This is also just a reminder for E-Verify, your registration confirmation screenshots that you have registered and the affidavits are now required documents for any new provider and for all providers wishing to contract for next year for 21-22. Next slide. So this is a list of the required documentation for your profile. This was included in the email blast we sent. So it's just as every year, your rate sheet and your holiday schedule for next year, an updated W-9. You can click to download a version of that, a blank version, an updated power of attorney if someone who's signing the contracts will not be on the SunBiz, level 2 for everyone listed on the SunBiz, or a letter stating that they do not come in contact with the children, your certificate of liability insurance, your workers' compensation insurance if applicable, and of course your E-Verify screenshot and your affidavit. So you can click there for samples of those documents or a blank version of the affidavit so that you can fill that out and send it to us. Next slide. So here's the changes we have made. You will see that there's changes in some managers and as well as the alpha assignments. So just take a look. Keep in mind that this goes by the DBA name, the name of your facility, and make sure you're contacting and accepting communications from your new contract manager if you do have a change. Next slide. So this is a sample screenshot of the E-Verify page that we're asking for. This is one of the new required documents for E-Verify. So just to be sure that you're providing us with all the information we need, when you log in, you're going to click the company tab in your account, and it's going to show you the company name and the employer identification number under additional information. So just make sure you're capturing everything from the E-Verify logo down to that blue button that says view/edit. That way you're capturing all the information that we need. And that is all for contracts. Back to you, Diana.
Thank you so much. And now I'd like to introduce an old friend, Dr. Christine Hughes, who's going to talk about infant and early mental health. Good afternoon, Christine. Good to see you again.
Hello, Diana. Thanks. It's great to be back. So I just wanted to share a training opportunity through the Florida Association for Infant Mental Health. We are Florida's association that focuses on the early mental and emotional health of our babies and toddlers and young children. And we are offering our very first training in Spanish, which we are very proud of. And we wanted to make sure that providers everywhere throughout the state had an opportunity to take advantage. So this is a really foundational, brief 1-hour introduction to what is mental health in infancy and early childhood, describing what it is, how do we know what it looks like, good mental health versus poor mental health in young children, and what can we do as caregivers? So what can we do as teachers in the classroom to support this? And so, oftentimes our training and our educational opportunities are for FAME members only. This time we have a non-member rate. It's low cost. You can, if you're interested in joining FAME, childcare providers can join for only $15, and for your whole program, you can join for only $100, and you'll have access to all the training all year long. But this training is happening next Thursday on the 25th, and we hope that everyone is able to take advantage. Any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will drop the registration links in the chat as well. And we'll be offering certificates for the hour as well to anyone who attends. Thanks so much for the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much. And now we have a few questions in the chat. I know some of them have been answered already, but let's just go through them anyway. Just as a reminder, the link to download the presentation is in the chat, and it can always be found in the Providers Corner page on our website as well. Let's see. Some parents, and this is for Ileana, some parents have asked if there are any documents to fill out for the waivers.
I did, I responded. There are certain documents, so we need proof of employment prior to the pandemic, or if they have reduced hours, they can give us the pay stubs of their current employer to show some type of a difference in hours or pay that they've been getting as a result of that pandemic. So yes, definitely, as long as we have something, or even if they have an unemployment letter, award letter that they're receiving, they can certainly also provide us that information as well.
Thank you very much. And as of right now, the ratios for classes are still the same. They haven't changed. As soon as we hear word, and Mr. Torres is our CEO, is lobbying and he's working behind the scenes to help change these numbers because he knows how much childcare businesses are struggling with these ratios. So as soon as we have word, we will let everybody know. And and again, Ileana, if you could just reiterate regarding the wait time to be processed for school readiness, please, because there's a few questions for that.
Sure, no problem. So currently right now we're selecting family every 2 weeks. So as families become eligible for the program, we are selecting every 2 weeks no matter what. And then they get a notification letter once we bring them in for the school readiness program, and they have the 30 days to submit. So as far as applying for services, it's the 2 weeks definitely is when they're coming on board. We're getting over 600 applications a day, so you can imagine the volume, but we're still doing it by OEL guidelines. We have 14 days, but we're doing it in 2 to 3 days. Reviewing all applications, responding to the families, letting them know. We're getting a lot of applications that are incomplete. But again, we explain in detail to the parent. We call them, we email them, and we tell them exactly what is missing for their application. So just because they're rejected, that doesn't mean that their application is terminated. That means that they have to supply us with some supporting documentation.
Thank you. That's good information. And just a quick question for Carla about Study Buddy. Does the Study Buddy training provide CEUs?
Unfortunately, due to the high volume, we're not offering the certificates. So
okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sorry, did you want to add anything else?
No, that it was said it will be issuing when everybody goes on face-to-face.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And thank you. If anyone's looking for the current fee rates for VPK and school readiness, please go to our website, click under providers, then provider services, and the appropriate program, either school readiness or VPK, and that information will be there. Let's see, any other questions? What area of the portal do we upload the documents for the provider portal? I'm assuming that this is for contracts for the new, for the provider profile updates. Marianela, if you could just remind everyone where that information is.
Sure. So when you go into as soon as you log into the portal, you're going to click at the top where it says profile, provider profile, and under the name of your center, you'll have a row of tabs. So the second to last tab or third to last tab says documents. You're going to click that tab and it'll come up with a list of all the required documents that you can upload. And there'll be a button that says upload another document, and you can upload under the corresponding category depending on what the document is.
And if you could just remind the group where they can find the sample power of attorney, please.
We do not have a sample power of attorney. That is something that you would get from your attorney or who's ever drafting that for you. We don't have a sample of it. The ones we do have a sample, they have the links in the presentation and in the email blast that has gone out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's see. How or when do we have to do the rating? Is there a due date? There is no due date for the rate increase. This happens on our back end. We're just informing you. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Casey.
No, that is correct. We're going to change the rates based on the guidelines from OEL. If you qualify for one based on what your max rate is currently, or what your private pay rate is, let me say that properly, then you will automatically receive it.
Okay, thank you very much. And let's see. We have still 10 more minutes in the English session. Do we have any more questions? We'll just give it another minute. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions popping. Oh, here we go. What is the ratio now? Did it change? No, the ratio is still 12-1. It has not changed. Marinela, quick question. If you already have a 2018 W-9 in the portal from last year, do you need to do a new one?
Yes, the W-9 is required every contract year. We will need a new one. It's still the 2018 version, the IRS 2018. That was the last time it was updated, but we do need a new one every year. When you sign it, it has to be signed within the fiscal year.
Okay, we ask everyone to put their questions into the chat box because we do we do download all of this and translate it and upload it to our website. So if you have a question, please put it in the chat box. Okay, Casey, we have another question for the rate increase. What do you mean you will get the rate increase based on your current rate? And will we qualify?
Okay, we are actually going to be doing a full-on provider training in regards to this, but I'll just give you kind of a brief explanation. The state will pay you based on what your private rate is. So if you have a private rate that's $20, we're just round numbers here. If you have a private rate that's $20, but OEL's approved rate is $22, we're only going to pay you the $20 because that's what your private rate is. So that's what I mean by if you qualify, because you may already currently be at what your private rate is for some of your care levels. So that's what we're talking about. You may qualify. If you do, you'll get that automatically.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. And let's see, will class be happening this year? Paloma or Fiorella, could you please answer?
Yes, thank you, Diana. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, we do hope to get back out to conduct assessments for classroom assessment scoring system. However, due to local ordinance, the date of when to resume assessments is still unknown. Local ordinance does not allow any visitors in the child care centers. Therefore, we cannot resume until that local ordinance is lifted. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. And regarding the market rate survey, it is coming up. As soon as we have the information for it, we will be passing it on to everyone. And I don't know how many of you were here
on the meeting when we had Mr. Torres on, but he explained why it's so important to fill out this market rate survey. And if you know of any providers who are not contracted with us, who are outside of the ELC, for them to also fill that out so that OEL can have a more accurate representation of what childcare costs down here. Because right now there seems to be some sort of disparity, and particularly in some of the care levels. So yes, so as soon as we have the market rate survey information, we'll be sending it out to everybody. Please pass it on. This benefits you, especially when these rate increases happen. Let's see. Is the testing for children going into kindergarten still effective? Is this for Rocio Levy? If you could just please specify if this is part of the VPK testing. And let's see, we have one more question. Will more MMCI courses be offered in Homestead anytime soon?
I will answer that.
Do we have? Oh, thank you for jumping in, Adelina. I was just about to ask for you.
And at this moment, we are offering oral classes virtual. So yes, MMCI sessions will be offered in the future. We have 4 sessions running at this time. And when those cohorts are over, we are going to be offering more classes, but they will be offered virtual, not in a location. So you can join us by Zoom. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see, Erica, are you on the call today?
Yes.
Do you have any information regarding any of the, I'm sorry, I can't recall the name of the test.
The STAR assessment.
Yes, STAR assessment, there you go. Totally
as of right,
thank you.
As of right now, there's been no waivers for the STAR assessment for the upcoming school year. So right now, everything as is.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
and
welcome.
Casey, if you could just remind everyone, are providers going to be notified of the provider of if they qualify for a rate increase, or is it just going to happen?
It will just happen. I'm not sure how official by, provider by provider it will be. Once it's in effect, the rate will be posted so that everybody can take a look and review what their current rates are in regards to what the new rate is for approved through OEL now. And talk to your contract specialist in regards to any adjustments you may want to make once you have all that data.
Okay, thank you very much. As of now, we don't have any news from OEL with regards to the first responder program. We have sent the question up, and as soon as we find out, we will certainly let everybody know. It was a very popular program, and as I said, as soon as we know anything, we'll let you guys know via email and on these meetings as well. Okay, well, the questions are slowed down to trickle. The Spanish session is going to start in about 3 minutes. So if everyone wants to take a quick break before the Spanish section begins, please feel free to do so. Thank you very much for joining us this week. I appreciate you guys taking the time to be here, and I appreciate my colleagues for answering all the questions. And see you in a few minutes, in 2 minutes. We'll just take a quick break. Thank you. Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a nuestra reunión semanal para socios de educación y cuidado temprano. Ahora estamos empezando nuestra porción en español. Si necesita descargar la presentación, he puesto el enlace en el chat box. Y claro, si tiene alguna pregunta o inquietud, por favor, póngala en el chat y responderemos después de las presentaciones. Next slide, please. Estas son una de las reuniones que van a venir próximamente. En febrero 25 tenemos el Comité para Servicios para Proveedores y el 1 de marzo será nuestra reunión, nuestra Junta de Directores. Next slide, please. Estos son los representantes para proveedores en nuestra Junta de Directores, y si necesita contactarlos puede usar el correo electrónico en esta página, myproviderrep@elcmdm.org. Descargue la presentación y tendrá el email más la información sobre ellas. Next slide, please. Y hablando de la Junta, tenemos un vacante en la Junta para un representante para proveedores que trabaja con niños con discapacidad, que son discapacitados. Hay unos requerimientos, tiene que residir en la Florida y tener un negocio que está vinculado con niños con discapacidades. Y si está interesado en ser este representante en nuestra Junta, por favor descargue esta presentación y tendrá el enlace para la solicitud. La fecha límite es el 26 de febrero. Next slide, please. También tenemos una nueva línea de apoyo emocional para nosotros que estamos lidiando con el COVID. Si necesita hablar con alguien o está preocupado y necesita desahogarse un poco, por favor, llame esta línea. Es patrocinada por Pepsi, Peacock Foundation, Miami Foundation y Mujer Inc. Next slide, please. Para la Semana de los Niños, la celebración de las manos todavía sigue en pie en Tallahassee, pero nosotros no estamos recogiendo las manos. Por favor, mande sus manos, la arte de las manos a Tallahassee. Descargue la presentación para la dirección y el folleto que les explicará cómo hacerlo, pero ustedes siempre hacen arte tan bonita con los niños. Exacto. Todavía las subvenciones de Career Star South Florida y Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce están aceptando, todavía están aceptando aplicaciones para cualquier pequeña empresa que ha tenido que gastar por lo de COVID. Por favor, si tiene un momento, aplique. Todavía hay dinero disponible ahí. Next slide, please. También estos son unos webinars. Desafortunadamente, la última vez que chequeé solamente están en inglés para ver qué está proporcionado en este último coronavirus stimulus de diciembre 27. Descargue la presentación para los enlaces, por favor. Next slide, please. Y ahora quisiera introducir a Sandra González, que va a hablar un poco sobre School Readiness. Buenas tardes, Sandra.
Buenas tardes, Diana, gracias. Bienvenidos a todos y les queríamos recordar que en este momento nosotros tenemos la matrícula para los niños de School Readiness abierta. Esto quiere decir que hay fondos disponibles en este momento para las familias que quieren aplicar a este programa. Las estamos revisando continuamente y estamos entrando todas las familias cada 2 semanas. Entonces, sí tenemos los fondos, no tenemos lista de espera. Este es el momento de aplicar y de tomar, por favor, si nos ayudan a avisarles a sus familias que este es el momento de aplicar por lo que tenemos los fondos disponibles. También les queríamos recordar que en este momento hay unas exenciones que son de parte de la oficina de Early Learning. Entonces, estas exenciones dicen que si la familia, el papá o la mamá han perdido su empleo por la situación, por el COVID, o tienen horas reducidas, nosotras tenemos en este momento unas exenciones que las familias pueden ser elegibles en la parte de inicial del programa o de la parte de redeterminación. Solamente con la búsqueda de empleo o por la reducción de horas hay exenciones para poder las familias seguir siendo elegibles. Entonces, les queríamos seguir recordando esta noticia. Gracias, Diana.
Muchas gracias, Sandra. Y ahora quisiera introducir a Carla Sotelo Blanco de OEL para hablar sobre Virtual Study Buddies. Buenas tardes,
Hola,
Carla.
buenas tardes, gracias. Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Carla Blanco, soy entrenadora de OEL y represento el condado de Miami-Dade en Monroe y estoy contenta compartiendo con ustedes el calendario de nuestros Study Buddies de febrero. Y en el chat lo voy a compartir el correo electrónico si están interesados para venir a nuestros cursos que estamos dando virtual. Y estamos dando lo que pueden ver aquí en nuestro calendario. Estamos dando el Language and Vocabulary, How to Administer the VPK. Todos estos cursos son un repaso que estamos dando. Si sus maestras ya tomaron el curso online, pero todavía les falta hacer el assessment, les damos un review, un repaso de todo lo que van a poder ver en nuestros cursos de Virtual Online. Y también voy a compartir con ustedes y si tienen preguntas de nuestros Study Buddies, voy a compartir el correo electrónico on the chat y también les voy a mandar también voy a compartir con ustedes el marzo calendario para que las maestras se puedan registrar y estén up to date con todos nuestros cursos que tenemos para ofrecerles a ustedes. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, Carla. Y si tiene alguna pregunta, por favor, recuerde de ponerla en el chat. Next slide, please. Ahora quisiera introducir a José Hernández, que va a hablar sobre el provider rate increase. Buenas tardes, José.
Buenas tardes y buenas tardes a todos los proveedores por estar con nosotros como siempre aquí. Muchísimas gracias por su atención. Lo que nosotros queríamos informarle era que nosotros estamos trabajando preliminariamente en conjunto con OEL, preparando todo para la implementación de un statewide rate increase. O sea, el estado completo, la oficina de OEL está en el proceso de implementar este rate increase para todos los proveedores de School Readiness con el día preliminariamente efectivo enero 1 de este año, o sea, el enero 1 de este año que empezó ahora mismo. Pero es preliminarmente a una notificación oficial, va a ser enviada por la oficina de OEL a todos los proveedores, especificando los detalles. Así les recordamos, como Casey le había mencionado en la sección de inglés, que nosotros recientemente, como ustedes pueden recordar, en julio 1 nosotros implementamos un 10% rate increase a todos los proveedores de Miami-Dade y Monroe County. Lo que quiero decirle con eso es que el rate increase que hoy ya lo están implementando quizás no tenga el impacto financiero que uno quisiera o deseara para ustedes, porque ya ustedes han recibido ese rate increase en el pasado. So, el impacto fiscal o financiero del rate increase que está en el proceso no va a ser tan significante como fue el de julio 1 que nosotros implementamos con el 10%. También quería recordarle que todos los rates increase tienen que ver con el private rate de ustedes, o sea, lo que domina el rate que es negociado en su contrato en realidad es el private rate de ustedes. Ellos van a ver training que nosotros les vamos a dar entrenamiento para que todo el mundo entienda el proceso con más plenitud. Si tienen cualquier pregunta, pues yo estaría disponible aquí para respondérsela a ustedes. Por ahora, esperemos el email que va a venir de la oficina de OEL en los próximos días. Muchísimas gracias a todos.
Muchas gracias, José. Next slide, please. Y quisiera introducir a Jessica Parra del Departamento de Contratos para darnos unas actualizaciones de los contratos para los proveedores. Buenas tardes, Jessica.
Buenas tardes a todos. Muchas gracias, Diana. Tenemos unas cuantas actualizaciones en el departamento de contratos. Primero que todo, los perfiles del 2021 ya están disponibles. Especificaciones a cómo crear y actualizar el perfil fue mandado por correo electrónico. Si aún necesitan ayuda, no duden en llamarnos para asistirlos. Hemos actualizado las asignaciones de managers. Explicaré esto en un breve momento. Los proveedores ya no completarán los addendums por correo electrónico y por PDF. Todas las modificaciones al contrato van a ser en el portal del proveedor. También vamos a enviar un correo electrónico con más información en cómo vamos a completar los addendums en el portal. Un recordatorio sobre lo de E-Verify. Las confirmaciones de registro y las declaraciones juradas son documentos obligatorios para los contratos del próximo año. Next slide, please. Estos son todos los documentos requeridos para el perfil del 2021-2022. La hoja de tarifas, acuérdese que tiene que tener el nombre del centro, el número del DCF license, y que tenga el año escolar. So va a decir 2021-2022. El calendario de vacaciones, el W9, el poder notarizado, las investigaciones de antecedente, que también muchos los conocen como las huellas, el certificado de seguro, seguro de compensación para los trabajadores, la captura de pantalla de E-Verify y la declaración jurada. Next slide, please. Aquí ven la lista cual hemos actualizado las asignaciones de nuestros managers de contrato. Consulte la nueva lista ya que su manager puede haber cambiado. Este cambio entra en efectivo inmediatamente, así que asegúrese de comunicarse con su nuevo manager. Aquí pueden ver su extensión y su correo electrónico. Next slide, please. Aquí ven un ejemplo de la captura de pantalla de la página de E-Verify. Acuérdense que la captura incluye el nombre de la corporación y el número de EIN. Si tiene alguna duda o alguna pregunta, por favor contacte a su manager de contrato. Gracias. De vuelta a ti, Diana.
Muchísimas gracias. Y estoy ahora introduciendo esto de parte de FAME, es el Instituto de Salud Mental, y ellos tienen un curso nuevo para la introducción a la salud mental en la infancia. Y específicamente tienen uno en español. Antes, esto era solamente disponible a ellos que estaban miembros de esta organización, pero ahora lo están abriendo para el estado entero. Tomen ventaja para aprender un poco más sobre la salud mental en la infancia, qué es lo que es, cómo se nota y qué uno puede hacer para ayudar que esto sea positivo. Y si por favor Christine Hughes pudiera poner, can you please put the link in the chat? La doctora Christine Hughes, que es representante de esta organización, va a poner un enlace en el chat para quien sea que quisiera registrarse para este entrenamiento. No es muy caro, si es un miembro son $15, si no es miembro, perdón, si es miembro es $15, si no es miembro es 20. Y también recibirá un certificado de asistencia. Muchísimas gracias. Y ahora tenemos un poco de tiempo. Oh, sorry, next slide, please. Ok, eso es lo que pensé. Y bueno, esto ya concluye nuestra presentación. Si tienen alguna pregunta, por favor pónganla en el chat. Tenemos un poquito de tiempo para poder responder cualquier inquietud o pregunta que usted tenga. Ok, aquí tenemos algunas preguntas. Para Fío o Paloma, ¿cuándo van a empezar las observaciones del class?
Gracias, Diana. Desafortunadamente ahora no tenemos el día exacto de resumir las evaluaciones porque hay un local ordinance que no deja que la coalición salga a los child care centers. Entonces, por ahora no tenemos el día de regreso, pero sí anticipamos antes de junio empezar a hacer o continuar, diría yo, continuar de hacer las evaluaciones con la herramienta Class. Gracias, Diana.
Muchísimas gracias. Y la otra pregunta también era sobre clase. Si necesita la información para el curso de salud mental para los bebés, han puesto los enlaces en el chat, los puse ahí otra vez. Y recuerde, descargue esta presentación y tendrá toda la información también. Pondré el enlace para descargarlo de nuevo. Y como de hábito, de costumbre, siempre ponemos estas presentaciones en el Providers Corner de nuestro sitio web. Esperaremos un minuto más a ver si hay más preguntas. Sí, el ratio todavía sigue 2 en una clase. Eso no ha cambiado todavía. El momento que tengamos información actualizada, se lo mandaremos a todos ustedes por email. También lo pondremos en nuestro sitio web y lo anunciaremos en esta reunión al igual. José o Alex, ¿cuándo recibirán los formularios para los impuestos? No sé si nosotros proveemos esta información. Daisy, si pudiera darnos un poco más de detalle. Ok. José, si pudiera dar una pequeña explicación otra vez sobre el rate increase, por favor.
Claro que sí, Diana. Buenas tardes de nuevo. La
Gracias.
primera pregunta, no sé lo que la persona estaba preguntando, si era en referencia a la 1099 al final del año, pero 1099 solamente por ley son procesadas cuando no son necesarias, cuando es una corporación la que está proveyendo los servicios. So, esa es la pregunta, pero de todas maneras, yo le voy a poner mi email para que nos manden una pregunta. Mi email es jhernandez@elcmdm.org y mándenos la pregunta y nosotros respondemos en cuanto a qué tiene que ver con los taxes. En cuanto a los rate increase, yo estoy mirando la pregunta que pusieron en el chat. Nosotros no, en realidad, no tenemos una tarifa específica de cuánto es el rate increase como nosotros hicimos en julio pasado. Por ejemplo, en julio pasado nosotros hicimos un rate increase de 10% para todo lo que es levels. Este rate increase que estamos procesando mediante la oficina de OEL es algo que se está haciendo en el estado completo y es basado en el survey hecho por OEL. So, en realidad varía. Tendría que mirar usted cuando nosotros recibamos la comunicación oficial de OEL y que el schedule sea hecho público a todo el mundo. Entonces tendría que comparar los rates de nosotros a lo que usted tiene en el contrato y darse cuenta si hay alguna diferencia. Lo que vuelvo le repito, como había mencionado anteriormente, este rate increase no es tan significante como el que nosotros procesamos en julio, primero porque era un 10% entonces. So, por favor, tómense su tiempo y revisen el schedule. Y si tienen cualquier pregunta, nosotros siempre estamos aquí disponibles. Ustedes, la mayoría de todos saben cómo comunicarse conmigo. Yo siempre estoy aquí disponible para ustedes. Mi extensión es 2257. Y de nuevo le voy a escribir mi email en el chat box. Bueno, ya lo escribieron, Diana se lo puso. Muchísimas gracias a todos y cualquier pregunta envíenmela y nosotros buscamos la manera de que les responderé lo más pronto posible. Muchísimas gracias a todos.
Gracias, José. Y tenemos una última pregunta sobre class. Paloma o Fío, ¿en qué página se pueden registrar para el class?
Gracias, Diana. Para las observaciones, las evaluaciones, no hay que registrarse. Esto es mandatorio desde el 2018 en noviembre, que todo programa que quiera un contrato con School Readiness quiere que sea evaluado. Así que no hay una registración para eso. Ya cuando nosotros tengamos notificación que ya podemos salir a hacer las evaluaciones, les avisaremos para que entren al portal Quality Performance System, que es el QPS, donde tienen que entrar el nombre de las clases y toda la información de la escuela. Gracias, Diana.
Muchas gracias, Fio. Y ya que no hay más preguntas en el chat, ya terminaremos la reunión. Quisiera darles a todos ustedes las gracias por estar aquí con nosotros semana tras semana. Y gracias también a mis colegas por estar aquí, por responder las preguntas que han surgido y para presentar. Buenas tardes y nos vemos la semana entrante. Thank you, Lisa. This meeting is now over.